And Roy Moore, this is another series of scandals. Roy Moore, the convenient GOP scapegoat, that's the topic of tonight's angle. When it comes to Roy Moore's Alabama Senate bid, it seems like everyone is running for the exits, and perhaps they should. Look, the accusations have piled up, and I understand no one running for office wants to be asked uncomfortable questions. Questions like, do you support Roy Moore with these allegations hanging over his head? Do you believe Roy Moore should even be seated? He's going to hurt the party, leaders say. So let's cut our losses now and put Jeff Sessions back in his old seat. It's going to be a midterm election disaster for the GOP. But the more I think of it, the more I hear all this, I kind of think the GOP is just trying to use the Moore allegations, use them to deflect attention and criticism from their own failures.
If these accusations are true, that there'd be no place for him in the Senate.
I hope that he steps down immediately. I mean, this is I never thought he belonged in the Senate.
I am pleased to be able to see that the nation, though, is talking about moral issues and trying to hold leaders to a higher account.
Well, I guess, yes. Let's hope that happens. But Roy Moore's future is going to depend on the voters in Alabama. And the GOP's future is going to depend on their own legislative record, which, let's face it, is not too hot. It's not too hot with or without Moore. Check out this congressional approval rating. It's now about 15%. Only 29% of all Americans have a positive view of the GOP. I mean, Donald Trump's looking really good compared to those numbers. And last time I checked, let's face it, it wasn't Moore who dropped the ball on Obamacare repeal. And he didn't take long periods of time off out of session while he had work to do. He didn't fail to support enforcement of immigration laws. Roy Moore didn't support those absurd multilateral trade agreements that hurt the American worker. He didn't cause Ron Johnson to come out against tax reform today. And we know this, Moore didn't set up a slush fund for congressional miscreants who were involved with sexual behavior. Now, that's immoral. Roy Moore will certainly hurt the GOP image in 2018. He could, if he's elected, and especially among some female voters. That'll hurt. But before the GOP makes him the scapegoat for all that ails the party, well, I think the GOP itself needs to do some self-reflection. What have Republicans done in the past to infuriate and alienate their own base? So much so that they actually pushed Luther Strange out of the equation. They decided to go with Roy Moore. And now what is the GOP going to do to try to build back its reputation? Well, here's the good news. No matter what people say about Republicans or the Moore sideshow, at least they don't have someone like this running around.
Impeach him! Impeach him! Impeach 45! Impeach 45!
Does she know that doesn't rhyme at all? That's not a rhyming chant. You see, GOP, it can always get worse. And that's the angle.